breaking the chains. We have got to stop this war on drugs. It is devastating so many lives, so many families, and so many communities.
Frame a portrait of family unity, though we be disjointed because wifey was not you, not for many years. Later, I'd walk down the aisle as your bridesmaid. But it was sorrowful time because Bush was still president, or maybe Reagan. Either year, crack was still setting precedents in our home. And no matter how many nights I pulled you from paranoia's grasp, we still ended up back on the street, still ended up pacing fear, peddling untruths in the name of love. Be me and you was road dogs. I had your back, you had mine, right? Whether it was the women's shelter, the holding cell, or the roach-littered floor, we were traveling through your hell together.
The reason that we chose the title, Breaking the Chains, is because the basic purpose of this conference is to begin to look at the ways in which we have been chained to negative ways of thinking, negative approaches to dealing with problems of substance abuse and crime that have kept us locked down.
When I go back to East Baltimore, I can't find nobody I grew up with, that I hung with, that I ran the streets with. They either in jail, dead, or like myself, living with AIDS and hepatitis C. So this system is designed to kill us.
I'm at the conference because it's about time, finally, and at long last, that we have a conference that's specifically for people of color to deal with the drug issue.
My interest here is that I served 10.5 years in prison, so I know firsthand about this war on drugs. I was convicted for possession of drugs with intent to distribute.
I'm a former pardoned prisoner under the Rockefeller drug law. I received 15 years to life as a first-time offender. I was virtually paralyzed from the neck down and a total care patient while in prison.
I did 15 years on domestic violence, but drugs played a major part in that as well.
We fish for drug offenders, but we only fish in certain waters. We fish in dark waters, and because we keep bringing up dark fish, we think that these are the only fish out there.
People who use drugs than people of color, yet there are more people of color who are arrested for drugs than there are white people. There's a problem with that.
It's in the name of the war on drugs that Amadou Diallo was shot down as he stood in the vestibule of his own residence. And it's in the name of the so-called war on drugs that we see beatings, arrests, shootings, killings, and it's being visited primarily on black and brown people.
It's not really the war on drugs. I really think it is the war on youth, because the people that's affected by, most colored people that's affected by this is youth of color. These people are being locked up from age 16, and they don't have no education of even knowing what's going on. They missed out their whole childhood, and they're not even being accepted back into society again when they come out. I mean, no open arms, no skills, no nothing.
A lot of the money does not go directly to things like treatment, but simply go to furthering investigations, buying cars, buy money, and it's a self-perpetuating cycle.
Here primarily because I strongly believe that the war on drugs, if there's going to be one, should be primarily a public health war, not a criminal justice war.
Having gotten clean in 1975, alcohol and drug treatment has been a passion. I care more about the addict than perhaps any other segment of the population.
The person's drug of choice is, it's not about their drug of choice, it's about your ability to embrace that individual and accept them as a human being and meet them where they are. Do you know what it takes for a person to be able to ask for help? We know about pride, we know about dignity, and we know how difficult it is for you to come to a person broken and downtrodden and helpless and hopeless and to ask for help.
I grew up as a gang member, spent most of my life in prison, and I see a lot of people with my background here, and I see that they're making a big difference in their communities, which that's what I want to do. I want to make a difference in my community.
My call to action for everyone in here is everybody has a community. We all want our community, which is our home, to be a safe environment for our kids. That's what we start from.
Each and every one of us must be an advocate of our loved ones and the people in prison. And if
if we each reach someone and blow that trumpet and sound an alarm, there will be a change.
The words breaking the chain, that's what I learned to do. Even though I wasn't in prison, I was in prison. And then you have to learn to believe, and that's what I do. I believe now that things can change, and I believe that this whole room of people, I believe that I'm gonna hold on to it. That when I leave from here, everything that I've got here, I believe that I can take it with me and make some changes.
People of color have been devastated by the war on drugs, but we have the will to resist and prevent the expansion of cruel and draconian drug policy. We understand that an alternative approach is not only possible, but crucial to the health of our families, friends, and communities. We're not alone in this understanding. Across the country, people of all races, classes, and political affiliations are calling for an end to the war on drugs. The time is now.
Breaking